I can share the screen, I'll flail around and get started.
All right, it's all you, Kathleen.
Huh. I don't know what's going on here.
There we go.
Can everybody see my presentation?
I can.
Doug?
Yeah.
All righty.
I see it.
So what I'm going to talk about are a couple of international citizen science databases that anybody who has an interest in the natural world can participate in. There are a few. These two are probably the biggest. There are several dozen others, but I'm just going to focus on the two biggest ones, eBird and iNaturalist. So eBird can be found simply by typing in the word eBird, or I put the URL up here, ebird.org. You create an account in a very straightforward way. You just put in a username and a password, doesn't have to be your own name. When you create records, you do that by tracking your bird sightings in a specific geographic area. I won't go through the details because I have a short video clip if it works to show you. You can add photos and sound recordings. All species are recorded by location, and anybody can go in later and view what you have seen by location. So if I were to bird at Cape Disappointment State Park, put my list on eBird, somebody could go back later and they could see that list. They could see what everybody has been seeing for Cape B. So I'm gonna now attempt to get to the video clip to show you. Now I did turn the sound on and I did share the sound. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Jackson, can you help out?
It looks like it's paused right now, and for me, it just jumps to that frame it's at right now. So maybe just restart it, slide the slider back to the first of the video, and press play again. And let's see if it'll work now. It's loaded a bit.
Huh. I can't hear anybody's sound now.
Kathleen, can you hear me talking right now?
I'm on here, but you want to get out?
Yeah.
Okay, at the moment, here. Okay, now we're on.
Okay.
There, but I'm usually. Okay, she's talking about Kathleen's say. There's been a little shock in this talk. She's talking about websites. eBird is the first one. This is the bird watching, general bird science web. You can just Google eBird. She gave us the whole URL. But no, yeah, okay. Here on the.
Oh, that's my.
But I didn't. Well, no, I didn't get that far.
Yeah, that's
all
my
here.
Well, Doug, you're going to have to take over. I got myself into some weird spot.
Kathleen, This is Jackson. Do you want to try just resharing and pressing play on the YouTube before you make it maximized and see if that works? Before you make it full screen.
Excuse me, this is Nansen, and you're supposed to share computer sound. It's check the box in the lower left. It says share computer sound. We can hear her talking, but we can't hear the computer unless she checks that.
Kathleen also said something a minute ago about not being able to hear any of us. So I'm wondering, Kathleen, can you hear anyone right now? Or actually, it looks like she might have disappeared. Right. So Doug, you want to fill some space here? Looks like I think Kathleen might have gotten off. Or is right back on now. Awesome. Kathleen, can you hear us now? Kathleen, can you hear us? All right. Did anybody happen to capture or see what link that was that Kathleen was initially going to share on YouTube? And maybe we can, someone else can share that on their screen. I'm thinking that Kathleen can't hear us unless my internet's totally gone. But, yeah. All right, Kathleen, you're muted right now if you are trying to talk.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
Okay, great.
All righty, well, we're just going to painfully step through this. Okay.
That's cool. It's Saturday morning.
Yeah, can you see the screen now? It should have eBird at the bottom as the title.
Yes.
All right. So the link then is a YouTube link, and it should be at the bottom of the fifth line in the text up above the title. I'm going to click on it again and see if this works.
All right. And Nansen had a suggestion too, if it does not work this time, just making sure that when you do click the screen share button, that you click share audio, that same window.
I did, actually.
Okay,
I've been
great.
very careful about that all the way along.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, all righty. We're going to try it, folks.
Every day, millions of people around the world enjoy watching birds and recording their sightings.
What if there were a way to take all of these observations, yours, ours, everyone's, and put them all in one place?
If we could do this, we would fundamentally transform not just birding, but science and conservation.
From this idea emerged eBird. Put simply, eBird is a way for anyone around the world to store their birding observations, their photos, their sound recordings, and make them available to educators, scientists, and birders. It's incredibly easy to use, and it's incredibly powerful. All you do is let us know where you went birding, when, how far you traveled, and what you saw. It's powerful because hundreds of thousands of people all around the world are doing it, and it's growing. eBird already safeguards 500 million sightings, information that allows all of us to understand the movements and needs of birds at global scales. eBird maintains your lists for you and shares them with other birders from around the world. By sharing, it's now possible for anyone, anywhere, to find your target birds and the best birding hotspots any time of the year. Before eBird, there was no way to comprehensively understand population-level movements of many species. By combining your sightings with remote-sensed habitat data from NASA, we're able to generate species distribution models that provide an unparalleled view of where and when birds are in the landscape. Scientists and students all over the world are now able to use eBird datasets for their research at a variety of spatial scales. These observations help inform better conservation strategies, opening the door to the future of bird conservation. And this is just the beginning. With the help of millions of people who come to eBird each year, we are creating a free, open access system that is easy to use, fun, and rewarding. Rewarding for birders, for scientists, for conservationists, and ultimately the birds themselves. Go to eBird.org or download eBird Mobile to get started, all for free. By joining eBird, you're joining a global team of people that share your passion for birds. Be a part of it.
Hey everybody, Derek from Badgerland Birding here, and today we're going to be talking about
Okay, am I back up again? Great, thanks, Doug. So that's eBird. The next one is iNaturalist. It works in very similar ways, I will say. First of all, you create an account with a username and password. Doesn't have to be your own name. A lot of people use avatar names. You post photos and sound files by location to document the species that you saw. You can go into the database and look and see what other species were seen in that area. And you can also use it to ID organisms. So again, we have a video to watch that goes into a little more detail. Let me say though, before we go into iNaturalist, that the eBird video was done in 2017. And this August, bird observations globally passed 1 billion observations. So it has almost doubled in size in the last 4 years. So hold on to your hats, folks. We're going to try to get into the iNaturalist video now. All righty. So the reason that I put this clip up is that iNaturalist works a little bit differently than eBird. It says you might have seen something in an area, but you have to prove it with a video clip or photos. And I just thought a reminder of what quality photos really help would be good, because we've all probably had some problems trying to ID species with just really out of focus, shaky photos, or bad sound clips with a lot of sound overriding them. So when you post your images, iNaturalist automatically compares them to its database of images, and it suggests an options. If you don't know what you have, it'll give you the top 5 or 6 options. And I'm going to show you an example. This is an insect that is moving into our area that I had not seen before 2019. So this is a wasp. It's about 2.5 inches long. It's orange and black. It has really striking long orange legs. And it's a very interesting wasp, big, a little aggressive. I pretty much always see it by itself. You get within a couple feet of it, it'll fly at you. And it turns out it's a Sphex wasp. This particular species is new west of the Cascades just in the last few years. It's native to North America. It is a solitary wasp. The females lay their eggs on caterpillars, then bury them in burrows. And this particular wasp, I ID'd via iNaturalist using their image comparisons. It's the great golden digger wasp. Very striking animal that I wouldn't have been able to, I would have painfully ID'd it eventually other ways. So what are the benefits of doing this? Well, you get to share what you see. Your records are all in one place. So if you wonder what you saw on a particular day, you can go back and look. You have a network to ID the species, because not only are the photos being compared, the images being compared, people in iNaturalist all over the world who have an interest in that particular species will chime in with what they think the IDs are, particularly if you're wrong, which is actually really useful. You hone in very, very quickly on the correct identification. And then you get to enjoy what other people have seen, both on eBird and iNaturalist. So this is an MMORPG that is a massively multiple online role-playing game for nature if you're into video stuff. And it's been a great deal of fun for a lot of us over the years. And that's the end of my inept video presentation. I've got my contact information up on the screen, and I'll take questions.
And a few quick notes as we start first question and answer discussion session. If you want to just voice a question, you can just take yourself off mute and go for it, since it doesn't seem like there's too much happening right this moment. But if people do get talking and you want to ask something, you can click down under the button reactions, there's a little smiley face, and click raise hand. And then that way people can make sure to call on you as conversation goes forward. And as you might have noticed, we're recording this too. So if there's anything that you don't want recorded, just say so maybe when you start talking. Yeah, we'll leave it to that. Anybody got questions for Kathleen on eBird or iNaturalist? Thank you, Kathleen.
This is Doug, and I just wanted to chime in here that I haven't used either one of these yet, but I'm ready to, especially for caterpillars and bugs floating around my house. And I really like the idea of the citizen science stuff going forward. And of the 27 people on this call, I think very many of them are going to be helpful in the citizen scientist realm of the things that are here. So thank you, everybody. Keep on this, and let's do some more.
All right, well, Kathleen, I have a question for you. So you showed that wasp that you said had kind of been spreading its range, and And I'm curious, within Pacific County or the general Southwest Washington area, are there any specific, species or classes or anything bigger that you think would be of particular interest for people to pay attention to and document on iNaturalist or eBird these days?
Well, I think the more people do it, the more we find out about what's actually here. It's always kind of amazing to me when somebody with an interest in a biotic group moves into an area, all of a sudden you see sightings, if they're on iNaturalist, of what they've been seeing. And up until that point in time, if you had talked to an expert in that area, they would have said, well, we just don't see much in Waukakum or Pacific County. And well, somebody gets in there who knows that organism and they find it all over the place. So more people looking is always wonderful, because we find more stuff. It was just a couple summers ago that a woman happened to be out on the beach by a seal carcass with her camera and got a picture of a wolverine eating on the carcass. And people would not have acknowledged that that was a correct identification at all. But with the video clip, it was absolutely unmistakable what it was. And so now I have a number of friends who, when they go off into the Coast Range to look at birds and other stuff, they'll say, oh, we're looking for wolverines, because, one made it to the ocean. So who knows where they really might be. Getting more and more information about where animals really are and where plants really are is just really very, very important right now.
Thanks for that.
And I still don't see Mary up. If Mary Mosier has shown up, would she please unmute and announce herself? Otherwise, Vanessa, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to you, and then we'll wait until Susan shows up. We'll take a little break, and after Susan arrives, we'll do Susan. Oh, there's Vanessa.